The dawn of June 13, 1944, broke over Toi anchorage in the southwestern Philippines, casting a golden glow across the sleek hulls of the Imperial Japanese Navy's last great carrier force. At the heart of this armada stood the aircraft carrier Shokaku, her 850-foot flight deck a symbol of Japan's once unstoppable naval power. 30 months earlier, her planes had rained destruction on Pearl Harbor, launching Japan's audacious bid for Pacific dominance. Now, as her crew of 1,663 prepared for a desperate mission, none could know that a single American submarine would soon send her to the bottom of the Philippine Sea. Vice Admiral Jisaburo Ozawa stood on the bridge of his flagship, Taiho, watching as the first mobile fleet began its departure. The formation was a shadow of its former glory but still formidable. 3 fleet carriers, Shokaku, Zuikaku, and Taiho, flanked by heavy cruisers Otago, Takao, Maya, and Chokai, and screened by 13 destroyers. This was Japan's final gamble to halt the American advance, a force of 440 aircraft, 5 battleships, and 28 destroyers aimed at crushing the U.S. Pacific Fleet. As the ships steamed out of Toi, their destination was clear, the Mariana Islands, where American forces had landed on Saipan. The mission, codenamed Operation Ago, was to destroy the U.S. carrier force and save Japan's crumbling empire. By mid-1944, Japan's fortunes had plummeted. The empire that had swept across the Pacific in 1941 was unraveling. The loss of the Gilberts, the neutralization of Truk, and now the invasion of Saipan threatened to bring American B-29 bombers within striking distance of Tokyo. Admiral Soma Toyota, commander of the combined fleet, knew the stakes. Losing the Marianas would cut Japan off from its oil and resources in the south and expose the homeland to devastating air raids. Operation Ago was Japan's last hope, relying on the longer range of its carrier planes, support from 500 land-based aircraft, and the skill of its battleship gunners in night combat. But the Japanese Navy was a shell of its former self. The elite pilots who had struck Pearl Harbor were gone, lost in the crucible of Midway, the Solomons, and Santa Cruz. Their replacements, many with fewer than 200 flight hours, were no match for American aviators averaging 800 hours. Fuel shortages further crippled the fleet. With Japan's merchant marine decimated by U.S. submarines, Ozawa's ships ran on unrefined Terracan crude oil, clogging boilers, reducing speed, and filling engine rooms with toxic fumes. Despite these weaknesses, Ozawa believed his tactics, striking from beyond American range and coordinating with land-based air forces, could turn the tide. Across the Pacific, Admiral Raymond Spruance commanded the U.S. Fifth Fleet, a juggernaut of 15 carriers, 956 aircraft, 7 battleships, 21 cruisers, and 69 destroyers. Task Force 58, divided into 4 carrier groups, formed a protective shield west of the Marianas, safeguarding the Saipan invasion. Spruance's mission was twofold: protect the amphibious landings and destroy the Japanese fleet if it appeared. Intelligence from coast watchers and codebreakers hinted at a major Japanese offensive, but details were scarce. Spruance relied on his submarine force, led by Admiral Charles Lockwood, to act as his eyes and ears. Lockwood had positioned his submarines along the NA line, a scouting network across the Philippine Sea. 4 boats, Albacore, Bang, Finback, and Stingray, patrolled key zones, ready to intercept Ozawa's fleet. But it was a 5th submarine, USS Cavalla, on her first war patrol, that would steal the spotlight. Commanded by Lieutenant Commander Herman Kossler, a 36-year-old Naval Academy graduate, Cavalla was a Gado-class submarine, 311 feet of cutting-edge technology. With 4 Fairbanks Morse diesel engines, a 5-inch deck gun, and 10 21-inch torpedo tubes carrying 24 Mark 14 torpedoes, she was built to hunt. Her crew of 72 had trained relentlessly, each man qualified to operate every system aboard, a necessity in the claustrophobic world of submarine warfare. Cavalla departed Midway on June 4, 1944, bound for the waters east of the Philippines. After a 5,000-mile journey from Connecticut via Pearl Harbor, her crew was eager for action. Kossler's orders were to patrol the San Bernardino and Surigao Straits, key routes for Japanese shipping, and report any fleet movements. The first week was quiet, with Cavalla running submerged by day to avoid enemy aircraft and surfacing at night to charge batteries. On June 8, near Marcus Island, a sudden jolt rocked the boat. Kossler ordered an inspection, finding no damage but a trail of blood in the wake, likely a whale struck by the propellers. The incident reminded the crew of the ocean's unpredictability. On June 14, a typhoon hit, with 15-foot seas battering Cavalla. Men were tossed from bunks, and seasickness plagued the crew. Kossler submerged to ride out the storm, conserving battery power in the calmer depths. By June 15, the weather cleared, and a radio intercept from USS Flying Fish changed everything. A Japanese task force was moving east at high speed. Kossler coordinated with USS Pipefish to sweep the area, but after a fruitless night search, the enemy slipped away. Disappointed but undeterred, Cavalla returned to her patrol zone, her crew sensing action was near. Late on June 16, Cavalla's SJ radar picked up multiple contacts southwest, likely a convoy of tankers escorted by destroyers. Kossler ordered battle stations, but the alert escorts thwarted every approach, their sonar pinging relentlessly. After hours of maneuvering, a destroyer charged Cavalla, forcing an emergency dive to 300 feet. When she surfaced at 2 a.m. on June 17, the convoy was gone. Unbeknownst to Kossler, those tankers were fueling Ozawa's fleet, a missed opportunity that could have crippled the Japanese carriers. New orders arrived from Lockwood, repositioned to 13°00 N, 137°00 E, 350 miles west of Guam. Kossler pushed Cavalla's diesels to reach the coordinates, unaware that fate was aligning. At 7:45 p.m. on June 17, the SJ radar detected faint contacts at 30,000 yards. As Cavalla closed in, the radar revealed 7 large ships, a carrier, battleships or cruisers, and destroyers, moving at 19 knots toward the Marianas. Kossler faced a wrenching choice: attack now or report the sighting to Spruance. Knowing the intelligence could shift the battle, he surfaced at 9:45 p.m. and radioed. Large enemy task force, latitude 13 degrees north, longitude 136°30 E, course 045, speed 19 knots. 1 carrier, multiple battleships or cruisers, destroyers. The message reached Spruance, confirming the Japanese fleet's approach. Cavalla had fired the opening shot of the Battle of the Philippine Sea, though her crew wouldn't know it. After diving to evade detection, Kossler tried to pursue but couldn't catch the faster ships. By June 18, Cavalla resumed her patrol, her crew tense with anticipation. At 3:45 a.m. on June 19, a low-flying Japanese plane roared overhead, forcing a crash dive. No bombs fell, and Kossler surfaced cautiously at dawn. At 10:48 a.m., the sonar operator reported high-speed screws. Raising the periscope, Kossler glimpsed a Shokaku-class carrier, likely Shokaku herself, recovering aircraft, her deck crowded with planes. Accompanied by a cruiser and destroyers, she was 12,000 yards away, closing fast. Kossler ordered battle stations, the crew moving with precision as the torpedo data computer calculated a firing solution. Maneuvering Cavalla into position was a high-stakes ballet. Kossler made brief periscope observations to avoid detection, the destroyer Uruguay's looming dangerously close. By 11:10 a.m., Shokaku was 5,000 yards away, her course ideal for a broadside shot. But Uruguay's blocked the torpedo path. At 11:18, with the range down to 1,200 yards, Kossler seized the moment. "Fire one!" he ordered. 6 Mark 14 torpedoes shot from the forward tubes, fanning out to maximize hits. "Take her deep!" Cavalla dove to 300 feet as depth charges began exploding. Aboard Shokaku, chaos erupted. The first torpedo hit amidships, flooding a boiler room. The second struck the aviation fuel bunkers, igniting fires among parked planes. The third slammed the forward elevator, crippling flight operations. Shokaku listed heavily, her crew fighting to contain the flooding. Captain Hiroshi Matsubara ordered counter-flooding, but the fires spread, fed by aviation gasoline. At 1:40 p.m., a massive explosion, likely fuel vapors igniting, tore through the ship, lifting the flight deck and triggering secondary blasts. By 2:10 p.m., Shokaku capsized and sank, taking 1,272 men, including Matsubara, to the depths. Urikes and Yahagi rescued 570 survivors. Cavalla endured a brutal depth charge attack. For 2 hours, destroyers hunted her, dropping 56 charges. The submarine groaned under the pressure, lights shattered, and the air grew stifling. Kossler's evasive maneuvers, varying depth, using thermal layers, and silent running, kept Cavalla alive. By 1:32 p.m., sonar reported breaking up noises, followed by 4 massive explosions. Shokaku's death throes. At 7 p.m., Cavalla surfaced, her crew gasping fresh air as the diesels roared to life. Kossler radioed Pearl Harbor. Attacked Shokaku-class carrier, 3 hits, heavy explosions. Believed sunk, position 11°50 N, 137°57 E. Admiral Lockwood's reply was jubilant. Outstanding work, Cavalla. Impact beyond expectations. Combined with USS Albacore's sinking of Taiho, Cavalla's attack gutted Ozawa's carrier force. The Battle of the Philippine Sea, dubbed the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot, saw Japan lose 3 carriers, 600 aircraft, and countless pilots, crippling their naval aviation. Cavalla continued her patrol, arriving at Saipan on July 1 to a hero's welcome. Spruance's staff debriefed Kossler, confirming the battle's decisive outcome. The U.S. lost 123 planes and no major ships, while Japan's offensive power was shattered. The sinking of Shokaku, a veteran of Pearl Harbor and Coral Sea, marked the end of Japan's carrier dominance. Cavalla's 6 war patrols would sink 4 ships total, but none matched the impact of June 19, 1944. The broader submarine war, with boats like Cavalla, devastated Japan's economy, sinking 55% of its maritime tonnage. Kossler earned the Navy Cross, and Cavalla received the Presidential Unit Citation. Today, preserved as a museum ship in Galveston, Texas, Cavalla stands as a testament to the silent service's courage. The Battle of the Philippine Sea opened the path to the Philippines, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa, sealing Japan's fate. The sinking of Shokaku was more than a tactical victory. It was a symbol of America's relentless rise. A single submarine, with a crew of 72, had turned the tide, proving that preparation, courage, and opportunity could overcome any odds. As Admiral Nimitz said, "Luck favors the prepared." Cavalla was ready, and on June 19, 1944, she wrote her name in history, ensuring the Pacific would never again belong to the empire that had awakened a sleeping giant.